What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with some more comics. That's right. I didn't really know what to say there because there was quite a bit of variety here in today's video. But before we get into all this random comic goodness, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the bell notification so that when videos like this drop ever so randomly, you will be one of the first people to know about it and be able to make the conscientious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or to watch it later. But as long as you watch it, we're okay. And so if you're catching this live or on the rewind, it is all good, folks. All good. So, Nick the Comic Nerd, what's going on? How are you today? Um, Hopefully everything is going well for everybody this morning. I'm just doing a little awkward sip of coffee, as Pocan Joe likes to say. Got some new comic books from yesterday. Got a chance to read them, and also got some CGC books. Okay, so there we go. I'm getting a call from Malaysia right now. I imagine that's probably a scam. What's going on, Stanables? Hero and the Kid, what's going on? And because the stuff is ever so randomly today, I am going to post a link in StreamYard if anybody wants to join me today. So we're going to be talking about some new comic books. So full disclosure, if you see a comic that I'm showing off, I'm probably going to do a less than spoiler-free review. Cyborg Dag Mystery, how is it going? So before we get into new comics, I was on Instagram earlier, and I gave away these two comics, and I've already received addresses from both of those guys, and they will be going out in the mail today with their tracking numbers being forwarded to them afterwards. And so congratulations to those two. And we are doing, of course, a 600 subscriber giveaway over here on the YouTube, but that was an Instagram deal. And so, yeah, let's get into some comics. First off, we've got, and I don't know if we should, save the best for last or whatever, but Something is Killing the Children is definitely an awesome read. If you're not picking it up, the first part of the series has already gotten really expensive. I came late to the game, so I think I started with issue 7 on the floppies, but I got the trade for issues 1 through 6. And really dug it. I was hearing so much good stuff about it. I said, I just got to check it out. And Boom has been killing it lately. Boom is doing a lot of good stuff over there. And it's amazing how you hear all this drama associated with DC and Marvel and all that kind of stuff when you have these more indie publishers who don't have the financial backings and the wherewithal that DC has with AT&T or Marvel has with Disney. And yet Boom can kill it with stories. They also do not have the intellectual property that those two former people that I mentioned have, and so therefore should be behind the 8 ball. But why are they killing it like they are? Why are they driving things to second, third, fourth printings? And it's because they're putting out good content. Hey, Marvel, DC, are you listening? That'd be a great thing for you to try. So Something's Killing the Children. We have Erica Slaughter of House Slaughter. The last couple of issues have been kind of, lackluster, but Tynion is really good at pacing a story. You see that in his Batman run. He doesn't really drag things out like some writers, Tom King, tends to drag things out, but he paces it well. Right. So the last couple issues, you could have skipped and not missed too terribly much. But on this one, what's about to hit the fan because she starts telling folks what her family is worried about. They're more worried about covering up the information about they're more interested in covering up the fact that these aliens exist and that they kill people than they are about saving people. And then that's kind of where the rub is with her, because she's more interested in trying to save these folks before all that happens. You find out how I think essentially the monsters came about, and then that's when they show up and says nobody's leaving here, and cut the dude's throat. So again, I did warn spoilers. I did not throw any names in there, so if you haven't already picked it up, go check her out because it is definitely a good read. DC Death Metal. So this is kind of a screwy read, and let me explain before any DC aficionados go, "That is the best thing since sliced bread." No, this is. I'm not poo-pooing it or anything like that. Capullo and Snyder are definitely, a great duo as far as writing and art are concerned, and I've the story is just kind of started out to me as kind of a fun story, kind of screwy with the characters and everything, which was fun. But I think as things progressed and things changed behind the scenes at DC, it became more of a serious deal. It seems like it's gotten longer than what I thought I remember it was supposed to be. Schwab for Comics, what's going on? Thanks for joining us today. And so there's a lot of tie-ins and spinoffs and one-shots that they've been having, and I've gotten all of them except for the Justice League ones. There's a lot going on here, and I think everything's going to kind of snap in the end, and they're going to go to future state, and then they'll come back and start back up. Let's see. The story in Death Metal jumps all over the place. The heroes are in one place. You flip. Yeah, and it's hard. It's as much as I like an in-depth story, one that makes you think. It's getting hard to follow, and I don't like the idea of forcing me to get all these one shots, right? Because if you're going to do tie-ins, and that's fine. I mean, to sell all your comics that can't sell otherwise. If you're going to do tie-ins, at least do it to where it's kind of an off-shot story. You can take it or leave it. It's really not vital to the story. They make, how they used to make little notations as seen in this particular issue from the editor on the storyboards there. Do that. But with this Death Metal, it's like if you don't read it, you have totally missed out. And so it's getting kind of convoluted. And I tell you, so every week I try to evaluate my pull list because I spend an awful lot of money on new comic books. I spend a lot of money on comic books, and in particular new comic books. And because I'm a run collector, I find myself just getting books to fill in those runs as opposed to enjoy reading them, or collecting them, right? Ones that I think that are going to hold some kind of value in the future. I really don't do that typically. Typically, I'm getting them to read them and keep them for myself. And so I sort the books when I get them from the LCS, and I put them in the order that I'm really excited about reading. For me, Death Metal was the last book on the stack this week. Because I was like, I was kind of even dreading reading it. And when you dread reading something, that's a bad sign. Bad sign. Thankfully, I read Justice League, so parts of it help, but the one shots kill me. The random stories, the so-called collide. Yeah, I got the Lobo one, which I'm not a big into the Lobo. I'm not big into DC for that matter. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, and I'm a Batman fan, but other than that, I'm really not into the DC deal. So then we got Batman 103. This is one of those age-old covers where they kind of make you think something's going to happen, and it doesn't really. Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter, the soul of the city. Basically, Batman takes on Ghostmaker and lets Clown Hunter take off. Well, instead of taking off, he goes after Harley. Harley puts him in his place by kicking him in the you-know-what. And, so then Batman gets thrown through her window. Top of the morning to you. What's going on, Perry? What do you mean morning time? But yeah, so he gets thrown through the window with swords all in his back. So Ghostmaker's basically kicking Batman's butt, taking his names. Batman's like, this guy hates me because I kick him down every time I win every time we fight and yada, yada, yada. But then Ghostmaker basically makes Batman look like a little noob and throws him through the window with swords in his back, you know, um, and then, shoots him with something there at the end. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with Ghostmaker. Is Clown Hunter going to become like the Robin for Ghostmaker? What's going on, Ben Compton? Um, is he going to become like Ghostmaker's Robin, or is Clown Hunter going to be the next Robin? And why is it? I know birds of a feather flock together, but why is it that Batman, everybody he hangs out with, is their parents all died? It's like this little support group. And if your parents didn't die, we don't need to talk to you. Um, did I like crossover? One was interesting. I plan on picking up the second issue. I was not on the bandwagon at first because I think that Donny Cates is overhyped on some things. He is a good writer, but some of his writings have left me. Have been anticlimactic for me, and an example of that would be Thor. He fights Black Winter. You're thinking this is going to be a 20-page, 20-book arc, and then all of a sudden he goes bam, 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 and it's done. Just kind of whatever. And Big Will, what's going on, sir? How are you? And then another example of that. So you have Thor and you have Absolute Carnage, both examples of that. And so crossover, there was so much hype around it, surrounding. I was like, but then I saw one copy at the LCS. I picked it up. I read it. It was an interesting read. The premise is kind of cool, and basically that was what the first book was. Just kind of setting the groundwork as far as what the premise is going to be. There was no, big anything other than foundational work laid on that first issue. So I'm going to pick up number 2. We'll see how it goes. Hearing the kid says, listening to the boys wrestle upstairs. You think you can't hear them. Uh-oh. Well, when they get silent, that's when you're in trouble, if they're too silent. Drinking an awkward sip of coffee. So then we got Rorschach, number 2, which kind of has like the Hitchcock vibes on this particular cover, and they're kind of finding out why that guy died, and the people that are dressed up like Rorschach and that other lady, of course, they're dead. They're trying to find out, what happened, what led up to that. That's an interesting read. Tom King can get very wordy in his stuff, which I'm not totally against. I think that comics as a whole, and I think that's because people in large part don't read as much as what they used to. They've kind of dumbed down stories a little bit, but so it's kind of wordy right now, but that's okay. It's kind of a detective deal. I don't know with Tom King's shenanigans, if it wasn't for Rorschach, that I would be reading this, because I'm a Rorschach fan, but such as it is, we're going to continue to pick it up for now. Then I got Stormbreakers, the next generation of elite artists. And so the interesting thing with Free Comic Book Day and some of these giveaways, like the Marvel, the first appearance of Kamala Khan, I believe, sometimes these things can get, pricey. And that's really the only reason I picked it up, other than to look at the art. And so you see some of the artists in here. Of course, Peach Momoko, everybody knows her. And RB Silva has done a lot of work with X-Men. So I picked it up to take a look, and maybe it ends up being something. I didn't pay anything for it. So then we got Juggernaut, number 3. I guess maybe I didn't really have too big of hopes for Juggernaut. It just seemed like an interesting premise for the character, because the last time that we knew anything from him, basically it had the gem stolen from him. He's not himself. Well, he shows up in 1, and you can tell that he's not quite as strong as what he used to be. He meets this mutant. They think she's a mutant, super powered person that's called her D-Cell, like batteries. And but she can slow time down. He fights the Hulk. That was interesting in the last issue. And then now he's standing trial, and he fights this other person, the Sand person, and defeats them. Yeah. I was given it a benefit of a doubt. for Fabian Nicieza, which has wrote an awful lot of X-Men stuff over the years, and so is really in the know when it comes to X-Men lore for that reason. I don't know if I'm going to keep picking it up if the pace keeps like it is. It just it's like it's just one of those stories. I'm not as big of a Juggernaut fan to continue to pick up a book just because it's got my character in it. So we'll see how things go. Then we got Once and Future number 13. There's a lot of action in this book, and you've got to follow along with the story of how they place like the Lancelots and the Percivals and stuff like that, and who is what to kind of keep up with this story. But love the art by Dan Mora. I think Dan Mora does art, and Gillen does the writing on that. So definitely a good pair. What's going on, Varangian Vigilante? What is going on today, sir? How are you? Then we've got, let's see, Ten of Swords. So which one do we need to go first? This is number 19. This is number 18. Yeah, same here. I mean, Juggernaut as a character is interesting, and of course with his connection with the whole X-Men stuff, I have a lot of his appearances. But just yes, better late than never. How are you? But they're just not doing it for me right now. And I tell you what, X-Men and overall is not doing it for me right now. So let me preface what I'm about to say by giving some context to this, okay? I have every issue of Uncanny X-Men, including the annuals. So that's volumes 1 through 5, okay? So you're talking about 600 plus books. And then the X-Men series that started with Jim Lee's the best-selling comic book ever. Jim Lee did number 1. That series has been started and stopped for multiple times, and I think they're on the 4th volume with the current run of just X-Men. And then X-Men Legacy, where they went back and restarted the series, and with the old X-Men lettering numbers. I have all those. So there's a lot of X-Men comic books. So when I say that this stuff sucks, I mean, it's bad. It's like really bad. Okay. When Hickman rebooted the X-Men and he basically reset the button on the X-Men, but pulled in enough for old. Hold on a second. So, but he pulled in enough Easter eggs to make everything interesting for the people that had read it for years on end. So really liked it. I could tell that he was setting stuff up, and it just seems to me that Teenie Howard is destroying it. If I want fantasy, I'll read fantasy. If I want sci-fi, I'll read Star Wars. If I want X-Men, I want to read X-Men. I don't want all this flowery garbage. And so you're talking about a 22 part art. So that's the first off-putting thing. If I wasn't already buying most of the titles, I would be really ticked off about that. But X-Force has been pretty solid. X-Men is the main title has been okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm beginning to believe this here. I'm beginning to believe this. So anyways, X-Force has been very solid. Wolverine got better. It kind of started off kind of wonky, but it's gotten better. So, you got those. I'm not a fan of Kid Cable. And so I wanted to like Excalibur. I really did, because with Excalibur, you have Rogue and Gambit. And I just couldn't do it. It was just so bad. I mean, it was just so bad. So, Hellions was very interesting to start off with, but with this tie-in to Ten of Swords, I'm like, what is? I don't even know what's going on anymore. So we've got X of Swords, part 17. So nice, cool cover. So you're like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. But when you get into it and you're doing the whole fighting scene, it was. No, sir, you are not. So you would think that Marvel would be interested in what people that buy a lot of X-Men say, but that's not. So here you are, and this is the great example of this because X-Force has been such a solid title of all of them. It's been the more solid title, and so here you are having these little fights, and it becomes more like, okay, she's putting puzzle pieces together. Okay. Wolverine's going down the catwalk. On the catwalk. I'm too sexy for my. Yeah. Okay. So going down the catwalk. They're on the disco floor over here. I'm like, what is this garbage? What is? So I mean, it was horrible all the way through. You can tell that the Emma Frost lookalike Saturnine or whatever her name is, she's wanting Captain Britain some kind of bad, and he's kind of being the man and standing up and not falling for that. But she's basically turning on all of them, and then Death goes to have a fight with Storm, who is still hungover from that stuff that they drank. I think in one of the Marauders books. And so she goes to fight him and she takes him out. And basically, if you remember Uncanny X-Men 201, where she fights depowered, she fights Cyclops and wins without her powers. Basically, this is a callback to that where she fights him. She's like, hey, I'm not defined by my powers. And she takes him down. That's the coolest part of the book. Well, after Ten of Swords, Excalibur is dropped again. Marauders is dropped again. I thought that I was liking Hellions, but if this is any indication of where it's going, then I'm going to drop it. So Mr. Sinister had this kind of side deal where they were taking it, they were going to try to get the swords before all this took place, and then come to find out, shocker, Sinister backstabs them all, kills them all in this off-way land, which as of right now, we believe that means that they are not going to be able to be brought back. So that includes Wild Child, a bunch of the Hellions not being able to be brought back, Nanny and Orphan Maker, if they stick with that, we'll see. And so they get back, and that's when Sinister, they get back to Krakoa, and then that's when Sinister takes them down, kills Quanon, kills Havoc, and you could tell Sinister's holding something over Betsy. I keep calling her Betsy because she was for so long. And of course, Betsy Braddock supposedly died a couple of issues back. I kind of thought, well, maybe they're going to get rid of the two Betsy's deal, and they're going to just have the one, kind of setting that back up. So Mr. Sinister acts like, oh yeah, we got double crossed, and he was all the innocent party and everything. The Inhunt lead cover was about the best part of that book right there. Then you've got Cable. Cable. I'm not a huge fan of Phil Noto. His stuff is okay. And so basically you got Cable. And this, I'm going to bring up something else about this. So one of the, and it was an Excalibur, which is definitely the one that Tini Howard is trying to destroy. So basically, Mr. Sinister in this one's wanting them to shut the gate down. Xavier's like, no can do, no bueno. So Cable's fighting this woman that is married now to Cypher. So they married him. For what? I don't get it at all. And then basically Cable takes her down, but he don't want to do it because that's going to hurt Cypher. So she takes Cable and breaks his arm. And then he's like, all I ever wanted to do. And then Cypher saves him and says, hey, honey, don't do it. And so then Cable's like, "Oh, all I wanted to do is help y'all. All I wanted to do." I'm like, "What the crap is this? This is the guy that came from the future into the past and killed his own self. What happened to this? What is going on, Hialeah comic bro? What is going on with you, sir?" Um, Yeah, yeah. And they had that one, the Jean Grey and Emma Frost one. It was just like whatever. So basically, Cyclops says, "Hey, I don't want to lose him again." This is probably the best part of the comic right here. Is his exchange with Jean, and then she goes, "Let's go fix this." Okay, good. All right. This is, well, maybe not. The other part is Gorgon, isn't that his name? Yeah, Gorgon fights this white sword guy, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just going to send all my guys." Gorgon says, "Bring it on." He's chopping heads off, kicking butt, taking names, one right after another. They stab his eyes out, which he can turn things to stone. That's why he wears the little things. And he's like, "Hey, I don't need that. I'm taking them down." And then finally, he takes all his boys down, and then he comes up and kills him. And so, but he did bring the tally up for the mutants, and in the end, Apocalypse is going to fight his wife. Okay, so some domestic violence. I mean, what? This is overall horrible, horrible series. I don't know if there's ever been a worse X-Men series. I'm not a fan of Grant Morrison's run on X-Men, but I don't know if there's ever been a worse X-Men series. I mean, again, it's like I said with Batman. You have all this momentum built up with Batman. Why not let Batman's title continue on? Kill Superman's title because Bendis has already done that for you. Let Batman continue on kind of outside this future state deal, and you get extra sales. So I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I haven't picked up Doctor Doom. Thor was okay, and I've been picking up Savage Avengers. I've enjoyed it. It's kind of an eclectic mix of heroes, and it's been a good read so far. But yeah, so why would you take your X-Men, one of your prized possessions? You finally got them back from Fox, so you don't have to kill them all the time like you tried to, and then replace them with the Inhumans. Yeah, it's kind of waned a little bit for me after the COVID and they started back with Savage Avengers, but it's still an interesting read. It was real fun with Conan and seeing the dynamic between him and all these guys that are, in a totally different time set. Then we got Devil's Red Bride #2. Don't know if I'm going to continue to pick this up. As far as I know, this is the only Vault comics that I'm purchasing. Basically, you get a lot of Mulan feels. She's a woman in feudal Japan, essentially, and nobody wants a woman fighting them. But she's kicking butt. She's taking names, and so she pretended to be this little devil guy instead of her brother because her brother was a wuss. And so she gets attacked again. She puts that mask on, and she cuts herself every time. It's kind of weird, but yes, they are. Huh. Yeah, yeah. Comic Burrito, what is going on? How are you? Then we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunters. And so basically, Valance is gone to his old lover's house. In this one, you find out that she is married now, which kind of is some consternation between the two for a little bit. These two bounty hunters are after him and that little girl. And so he rescues the day. He gives up the little crystal that him and his former lover had basically exchanged back and forth in exchange for them leaving because they had him at a standstill at the end of the issue, and he leaves the girl with his former lover and her new husband and leaves, and he's all crying in the end. So this is kind of the end of that story deal. As far as the Star Wars titles, Star Wars Darth Vader, and Bounty Hunters. The Bounty Hunter covers have been like sick. They've been totally, awesome. Stories kind of died down for me. Hopefully it'll pick back up because this is the end of that one. And I'm only getting the Brazilian Wonder Woman for spec reasons for future state. That's it. Doesn't look good. Yeah. There was a couple of the Batman ones that looked interesting, but to kill your main, I mean, you went from Tom King sales all the way up with Tynion, and you're just going to you're going to stamp that down. They're going to have the before future state kicks in, I guess they're going to have the whole endless winter deal. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. And then so Marvel is going to help me save some money on X-Men. So I'm going to have a lot of previously accounted for cash going somewhere. Let's see. Well, the Flash title, since Joshua Williamson is off of it, I've heard a lot of people just say that you can tell it's just filler issues. Just issues. It's like, hey, let's just throw some crap together. It's really no deal. Dark Detective is still Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Well, see, the deal with that is that I try to cut down on these one shots because I spend so much money on comics anyway. Typically, I spend anywhere between $50 to $70 every single week on new comic books alone. Now, that's not counting the old books that I buy. Or last night when I was on eBay and I was checking out these two sketch covers that somebody done. It was two sketch covers that were drawn as like a complete one sketch. They were graded, and I mean, a sick cover. And I just threw an offer out there, and they bought it. So, now I got this. So yeah, I mean, I spend an awful lot of money on comics. So I'm trying to narrow down to just the main stuff. Let's just hope that they'll come back loaded for bear. That is, if they come back. If any of you have heard the rumors that DC is essentially going to shut down its publishing arm, I don't know. Maybe there's just a sliver of truth to it. Or maybe there's none. I don't know. It's only like 2 months, right? Yeah, hopefully. If it's not for Dynamite and their variant covers, I would not spend. Yeah, Dynamite has like what 100 Vampirella covers, or Red Sonja covers every week. I mean, that's their mainstay. If they don't have Vampirella or Red Sonja, they ain't got nothing. So you can tell the difference. It's not bad. But it's not great. Yeah. Okay. What's going on? Got the coffee. I got the coffee. Well, so far you haven't missed everything. Just kind of going over some of the new comic book day stuff. And I'm going to be showing my CGC books that I've got back this morning. So I'm going to put the invite back in the chat if anybody wants to jump on for a little bit. Then certainly feel free to do so. So I never got into The Walking Dead before. Did you find your tree yet? Did you find your tree? So, I never got into the Walking Dead deal before. And so I said, well, it's an interesting deal. Let me pick up on it. It's in color now for whatever that's worth. David Finch covers, certainly the deal, but I've been enjoying it. At $4 a pop, do I just go and, I mean, these stories are old. Do I just go and get the collected volumes? Am I better off? Leave it, put something in the chat as to whether or not that's the case. And then, of course, I've been picking up both covers on the Batman series. So this is the Matina, or as Bueller would say, Funky Cole Matina. Well, we have a Hulk 180 appearance right here, or 181, whatever is your deal, with Vincent McLean, the Comic Machine. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Morning.
And your sidekick's name there?
This is Tyler. He is very much a desk cat, so he's over here looking for loves, as you can tell.
He's looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah. What's up, Kitty?
Yeah. So what are you picking up? I know you joined the stream kind of late, but what are you picking up lately?
Well, I just dropped my video yesterday, and I had recently just picked up. Watch out, cat. Recently just picked up this bad boy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I got this one here.
Ah, yes.
And I got number 2 on the way. Should be here hopefully today. And then the only modern things that I'm like definitely trying to collect are the metal variants for Dark Knight Death Metal.
Yeah, and I started doing that. I got the Batman one and the Superman one, and I saw that one yesterday, and for $15 at the LCS, and I almost picked it up, but I did not because I just didn't dig the cover. I never could pick up the Wonder Woman one.
The Wonder Woman is the most expensive one that I've seen on eBay prices. They're pushing like $40 easy.
Wow.
My least favorite cover of the metal covers is the Flash one, to be honest. It just looks a little like bland. Like the color palette to me looks a little bland, and it's not like super like it doesn't pop. Like the Batman one popped. That was the first one I grabbed. And I missed out on the Superman one, but I ended up picking up later, and that one pops a lot, just like Wonder Woman. The Aquaman one is pretty cool. I like the way how it looks, so I'm really interested to see what the next one is going to be for the issue. So,
yeah, yeah, that I got the Flash one too, so I forgot about that one. So I almost picked up that Aquaman, and if I can find the Wonder Woman with those ratio variants, if I got to pay over $25, I'm pretty much out on those.
Yeah, I think the shop charged me maybe like $10 for for the Aquaman one. I really don't know. I swipe my card unless it's like a important book where it's like, okay, I really need to pay attention to this price. But the other books that I've got coming in, I've got. Let me look on my eBay page here real quick. I think I've got 3 books. All 3 of them are shown shipped, and they're all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books, and one of them is a big one. Like getting into low numbers here. So, but man, like I really want to try to get like a 4th print of TMNT 1, but I can't do that right now. Not at this moment.
So what do you? Because there was one for sale on auction last night. They sold for $65 ship.
Of 4th print of number 1.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm telling you.
Because I'm looking on eBay every day. I'm picking up a book and I'm looking, and I usually find deals pretty well. But yeah, like the lowest price right now I'm seeing for a 4th print is $120.
Yeah, it went. He gave it away for $65 ship last night on Thunder God's auction. Nino, I can't think of his last name, but yeah, Cat 60 Designs picked it up from him for $65 shipped.
Wow!
And that book, I paid $100 for mine, but I bought it from JB. He was doing that cancer auction deal. And so, I paid a little more for it, knowing that. So
I think I might just get like the shattered variant for TMNT number 1. I might go that route just so I could like have the cover, because like I'd at least like to have the original cover in some way. But if I could get a number 1, at least 4th print, that would be cool still, because I still would technically have like the number 1. It's just the 4th print.
Well, there's other ones too. There's the IDW did basically a reprint on that number 1, and then you've got the Loot Crate exclusive, and you got the free comic book day stuff too.
Right. I think I'd probably rather do the Loot Crate exclusive, possibly. I don't want to reprint. I hate reprints. I've given all of my reprints away. I just want as legit books as possible, like to like first print, second print, third print, whatever minimum. I'm not a big fan of reprints. I only have one reprint, and I've got the Prince Namor #1 reprint that they did. That's the only one I got. But other than that, I'm personally not a big fan of buying reprints and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, see, I like homages, and so like basically those reprints to me are like an homage of sorts, and so I'll put it like if there's a big book that I've got a lot of, then I will get that dollar reprint or that facsimile cover, and I'll put them aside. I change my comic wall over there out ever so often, and and Big Will does put a point. The second, third, fourth printing is a reprint.
Sure, but like if I was to show my collection off, the majority of my collection is trying to go for original books as much as possible, key books as much as possible. And so like if it's something that like I really need to have, like I really want, but I don't have the capital to actually get it, and it's something that I really want, then I probably would buy a reprint. So like a Hulk 181, I'll probably end up getting a reprint of that at some point. Just because like the cover's awesome, but like it's kind of with that one specifically, it's like, do I want it? Because I've already got like a giant canvas of it sitting out in my living room. So technically I have it and it's just giant size.
So would you consider Hulk 181, one of your grails that you would love to add to the collection?
I mean, I was thinking about that the other day because I don't think I have like a grail end all be all book, because like I feel like if I have a specific book in mind and I finally get it, then it's like, all right, well, I'm done collecting. Like I'm done with YouTube. Like I don't know. It just didn't kind of like, it didn't kind of sit with me. So like this Spawn 174 right here. So I just picked this up like a few weeks ago too as well, and that I would probably be able to closely say that was like closest to a grail, mostly because of like how hard it is to find a book like that, and it's pretty scarce. So it's more like it's like I want everything, but I want to keep it specific. So like what is it? Let me pull up my collection here real quick. I think I have less than 400 books.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm at 386, but I've got some pretty substantial books in my collection. So I'm going for more quality than quantity on that spectrum. But I did do a top 5 grail video a long time ago, and 181 is in there, Daredevil 1's in there, X-Men 12 is in there for first Juggernaut, because I've got the second appearance of Juggernaut, and then House of Secrets for Swamp Thing is in there. So I do have some of those big books, but I don't know, like I'm just kind of more trying to pick and choose like real specific stuff. And yeah, grail hunting is not like a primary thing that I go after.
Okay. Yeah, I'm mostly a run collector, but there are certain grails, and I actually got to thinking about this. I was on Stenable's Prime show the other night, and the question was asked, what are your grails? And I'm like, I've got X-Men 1, I've got Hulk 181, TMNT #1. I mean, what do you do, right?
Exactly.
So, I said, hey, Batman 1. Comic Burrito mentioned Detective 27. Obviously, that would be even the bigger grail. But Batman 1, there was one page on eBay, one page. It was happened to be the first page, and it went for $9,000 or $10,000.
Yeah, dude, those pages are insane. Like, it just puts in perspective like how rare and expensive and sought after that book is. Like, even just Batman 1, but like the first appearance, Detective 27, like it's insane. And I think, I don't know why, but most people I would say are more Batman fans, right? Majority of people are like huge Batman fans, like, oh, Superman, whatever, Batman, right? But Superman because he was the first comic book hero, and that's the big book is always going to be more expensive than Batman. But I don't know, to some people it's going to be like, no, I'm Batman all the way. And I would say, I think like a Golden Age book I'd like to try to get would be that oh god, what is it, the it's the one that they did the homage, that Neil Adams did the homage for the Silver Age book, but it was the Golden Age one. It's the spooky mansion.
31. Is it Tech 31?
Yeah, I would like to have that. I think that could be considered like a classic cover grail book to have, like as far as like a Golden Age, because I have no Golden Age, but the only Golden Age I'd want to get would be all the horror books.
Like the pre-created horror stuff?
Like the 50s. I'd like to get those ones.
Yeah, what's the one with the headless person? Wolverine 55, they did a homage to it.
I think I saw you didn't you do a video where you had that popped up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to get that as like a reprint or like a homage cover. That one would be really cool.
Yeah, Burke looked up and walked in the comic shop right as they were buying that deal. So he looked out and got that ASM 129.
That's awesome.
So let's see. Jay Hood says that I never thought I could own or Tech 27, X-Men 1, Hulk 181. I might end up with 2 out of 3 someday. Hey, there you go. And it's a goal list, right? I mean, everybody wants to be a millionaire. If you don't get there, if you're only halfway right, you're still good, right? So, that's the deal. Most important is that your books bring you joy or money, which can bring you joy. That is so true. To lose money on books is no fun.
Right.
That TMNT 1, it's a third print, and I bought it along with a buttload of stuff off of Mike Rogers' auction one night, an auction that, mind you, lasted over an hour.
Wow.
Because he had no timer on it. And so I got that book, as well as several collected editions of TMNT that were signed by Eastman as well, and some of the Mirage run of that book, some exclusives of the IDW run. It was he had to send it in 4 boxes to give you an idea.
Wow.
And I spent $700 for all of it. So issue 22. Okay. It was telling about the crime suspense deal, the headless.
Yeah. Yep. Those. Yeah.
So I did pick up this yesterday, the Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra Halloween Comic Fest.
Nice.
I've got 2 of the actual appearance, and then I found the other Before Watchmen Rorschach covers. The guy that does the B cover for Detective is the guy that done these covers, and so they're pretty sick looking. It was a pretty good story.
Nice.
And then I also picked up an oldie but a goodie, Wildcats #1, the Wizard Ace edition. So these are the acetate covers that Wizard put out for these. There's one for Hulk 181 and several other ones that they did. Let's see. Last week I turned 3 modern books that I got for cover price and could not care less about the Vampirella Annual. Okay.
Wow. See, that's the thing that like I'm at right now, where like I've got a Venom 3 slabbed at a 9.8 over here, and I kind of I got it done and slabbed right before it peaked at 450, almost 5, somewhere in there, and now it's kind of dropped back down to 3. But I like the cover too much, and I like that I have that at a 9.8 too much, to where I don't want to sell it to be able to get something else. And that's kind of how I am with a lot of the other modern stuff that I have that's fairly decent, sought after. So, but I mean, I will trim down my PC though. I will trim it down to trade up though. I have done that with a couple shops. That's how I got that Spawn over here that I showed. I will do that, but I haven't actually sold anything out of the PC just yet. I've only traded out.
Yeah, I mean, I traded up I had a giant size X-Men number one. It was a 2.5. I sold it and then later upgraded. I've got a 4.5 now, and that's signed. And my Iron Fist 14. I used to have a lower grade Iron Fist 14, and I traded it and got one raw for $18 and had it pressed and then got it signed by Chris Claremont back in July. And
Wow. Did you see the prices? Speaking of Signature Series, did you see the prices that they're having if you want to send books in to get signed by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman right now?
I got the email notification that they were doing that, but I didn't look at the prices.
All right, let me pull it up. So I'm in a group chat with Skeff's Comic Knowledge, Justin Comics, and Comic Man Andy, and he posted it in there. Skeff did, and I was looking at it, and it's insane. So for the CGC in-house private signing fee for Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman is $100 per item. The private signing fee for a Donny Cates remark is $160. And the remark for Ryan Stegman is also $160. And if you wanted to get a private signing fee by both of them and a duo remark is $260. Yeah, like
wow.
it is expensive.
Yeah, they got to I guess they're starting to pony up some more money for Cates and the Stegman crew, because I got mine signed by them in Louisville Comic Con back in November of last year for free.
Yeah.
You know, I walked up to the table and got all my stuff signed for them.
I'm not like huge into trying to get signatures or anything like that. I do have a couple, literally like two. I think I only have two that are signed, but I wanted to try and get my Venom 3 signed before I went and got slabbed. And they were actually here in Dallas at the Dallas. It's not Fan Days. It's another one. I can't remember what it's called. Fan Expo, Dallas Fan Expo. And I wasn't able to actually go to that one that time, unfortunately. But Donny Cates is a Texas boy. He lives in Austin, which is literally like a few hours away from us. So like at any point we ever want to take a trip down to Austin and just happen to go to the same comic book shop and he's there, be like, would you, you know, to see if you could get that done, you know?
Yeah. That's signatures and sketch covers done by the artist are something that I miss the most about cons not happening. Because I, like the interaction with the creator and, give them, hey, a blank sketch and say, hey, this is kind of what I was thinking, and let them do their creative juices, let them flow onto that page. So it's kind of a weakness of mine is these signature deals, because when I went to GalaxyCon last year, I had a suitcase and a box full of comics.
Jesus.
I just went from place to place to place. And so you show up on Friday and you get all the signatures. Nobody's there on Friday. You can just walk straight up to the table, get your stuff signed, talk to the people as much as you want, and leave them the sketch cover, give them time to do it. And then Saturday, that's when you start seeing deals. And then Sunday, you really pick up some deals because they don't want to take the stuff home. But even having said that, I had to pare it down to, okay, these are books that I would just never get rid of if I got signed by these people.
That's what I was going to ask. If you are like that type of collector where you want to get signatures and stuff like that, I would assume you're going to get it on a book that you probably would never ever get rid of. Like if you wanted to, get it signed at a con and get it witnessed and get it slabbed, get that yellow label and be like, all right, that's it. It's never leaving. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, and so I don't slab all of the ones. So I guess it's got to take it up another notch for it to be worthy of being slabbed, especially now that CBCS will do the yellow label authenticated signature.
Yeah.
So
I do like that they do that, but unfortunately, like their slab and their label and like the graphics that they have on it is unfortunately not up to par with CGC. It just it pops, it looks really nice, but I do like that they're not going to be like super particular about a signature, especially if you can actually like confirm that it is an authentic signature that doesn't require somebody to be there like CGC does, which just kind of like boggles my mind. Like going to a con and there's just hundreds of people everywhere, thousands of people, and you're like, hey, CGC person here, walk with me here, hold my hand. Like you got to be right here so we don't have any issues.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, them CGC or CBCS guys are all over the place watching, the deal, because on the CBCS slabs, if they see it, it's noted at witness signature. If they don't, it's just authenticated signature. And some people might or might not care about the difference. But Varangian brings up the point, not having to pay to meet them. Yeah. So Neil Adams, he charges you a buttload of money, and he is not as nice as what you would think somebody would be charging that much money to take a picture or get a signature with. But hey, I understand it. Whatever. But as far as the other guys, if you go up to a table, this is just my personal experience, but if you go up to a table and you just start talking to people and they can tell you're a fanboy, and you only got 3-4 comics to sign, and they're not normally like the ones everybody gets signed. I've walked away where they didn't even charge me nothing. They're like, man, yeah, go.
That is nice. I did that for one of my Deadpool covers. It's actually the only Deadpool book I have left. I think I traded up for everything else. Where is it? I'm looking. Oh, goodness gracious. Here it is. It's the Deadpool Volume 6, number 5, the Halloween one where his face is all burnt up and he's got his tongue sticking out. The one by Scott Hepburn. I actually had him sign that one. He didn't charge me anything for it. And then I was also getting a signature by Pat Broderick, who did the Batman, like the Year 2 series. And he signed my book, and then he was like, would you like to purchase like a new storybook that I've got coming out signed as well? And I was just like, I really don't know what that is. It looks really weird, but you did sign my book, so sure, I'll put it towards like a new endeavor you're working on, not just like, all right, that's going to be $15. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, Scott Hepburn did a sketch cover of Deadpool as the Wizard of Oz for me in GalaxyCon last year, and he also signed a Star Wars book, which is his first cover art, professional cover art from Dark Horse days. And so I met him last year. And then, you got people like, I have a book with one that's getting sold. Yeah, Big Will stood in line all that time at Huntsville Comic Con this year, and only to get Chris Claremont to sign it, and he's going to turn around and send it off. So it's each their own. It's like two brothers. Another say, collect your way.
Yeah.
And so some people like omnibuses, some people like floppies. It's whatever floats your boat. But I am running up against a time stop right now, so I do want to show these books so that it is not clickbait. So let's see if I can do this right here. All right. So CGC sent me 2 of my books back a while back. For those of you who might be familiar with the debacle, they had switched the labels around. So I got those books back, having sent them back to them to fix, and they reshipped them back to me. So it is going to be a surprise of sorts to see whether or not they got it right. And so you have Tomb of Dracula, number 10, first appearance of Blade. And it was a 3.5, of course. And it's got the right label on it now. Yay! I was just kind of cautiously optimistic looking at it because I could just see, yeah, they got the label right, but they put it back in upside down. Or they got the label right, but yeah, now they got a hair in there or something like that. Because CGC is, I'm done with them. You know, the dog only has to bite you so many times. Now, having said that, there are certain things that right now CBCS does not do. Magazine holders, these signings. So I have sworn off things that I can get elsewhere, if that makes sense. So this was the other one, and that is Werewolf by Night, 32, first appearance of Moon Knight. And it does have the correct label on it now. I do not see any kind of damages, and it actually is in there fairly snug, because sometimes you'll get the the clackety clack as the book's moving back, type deal. But no, these were good. So finally, now they only have my. I've got 5 books. I think 5. Let's see. Yeah, 5 books for the Roy Thomas signing. And that is Hulk 180, 181, and 182. Conan #1. There you go, Varangian. Conan #1. And then also got Marvel Premiere #15, first appearance of Iron Fist. So those are the 5 that Roy Thomas is going to be signing. And hopefully we'll be getting those back correct. And so the Hulk 180, 181, and 182, I purchased already slabbed. I sent them to the presser either way to try to see what he could do with it. And I'm crossing my fingers for a grade bump, especially on the 180. So we'll see. When they shipped them to me, I bought them off eBay. When they shipped them to me, they cracked the slabs. So the seller refunded me the cost of slabbing them. But if you submit with CGC on those bigger books like that, normally they charge more for them. Mm-hmm. Not so with the signings. It's a flat rate regardless of the book. So Roy Thomas is signing for a Hulk 181's $80. That's it. And so I don't know if they hadn't thought that one through, or if it's just an encouragement to get people to sign the books. But I was like, hey, now's the time.
Those are some awesome books that you just showed off right there. Those are definitely in the list of one to add to the PC.
Yeah, and both of those I bought off of YouTube auctions. I shy away from eBay. I mean, I will buy stuff off eBay, but I mean, I shy away from it because I have gotten to the point to where I like my collection. My wallet likes my collection to grow organically. Meaning that, okay, somebody shows something up on YouTube. Oh, hey, I happen to like that. Let me buy that, as opposed to me specifically searching on the internet for that said book.
Okay.
And so, like with my TMNT Mirage run, only needs 62 to complete my set. Well, I can go on eBay right now and buy a 62 for, $20 to $40. It's just not that's fun that way. So
right. Well, I have TMNT 62.
Oh, do you?
I do have TMNT 62. I think that was actually the first TMNT book I actually ever bought.
So, yeah, so you got the last issue before you got the first issue, huh?
Well, it just so happened organically, as you even said it. It was during whenever everything was like really locked down, February, March, April, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And my local comic book shop was doing auctions off Facebook like every single week. And he didn't get a lot of TMNT books in there. And that was like right around the same time that I was really starting to watch Comic Jabroni a lot, seeing all the TMNT stuff that he would be talking about. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Let me go ahead and grab that and support the shop at the same time to keep them open. Cause I mean, there's like one, it's literally one up the street from me. And there's like one more in another city, town, like up the road a little ways. But other than that, like there wasn't anything else close. So I want to kind of help support the shops a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Flash by Night says that, man, everybody went to the Huntsville Comic Con. Yeah, man, there were some deals to be had up there. It's funny because Deep Dive Comics did a video and he finally released it. And I found me, my wife, and kids all in the video, different parts of the video. But I didn't know he was up there at that time. So are we about to witness a sale? I think he was talking about your 62.
I mean, I think let me put it this way. There's nobody else here that I know for a fact that is trying to look for that book. So possibly. So like, and it probably would end up being ridiculous. So just let you know.
Oh, okay.
Cause like it's a super rare book to find. And since you're a run guy, like it would make more sense for you to have that specific book rather than me to have the book, because I'm not a run guy. So yeah, there might be a sale going on.
Yeah, DM me.
I'll send you a DM.
I also got Flaming Carrot comics. Just kind of randomness, pulled it out of the bin early.
That is weird.
Yep, Flaming Carrot. Back in the day. I also picked up several of these Free Comic Book Day. They had a whole stack of them things. I'm like, what? I mean, they're actually going for money now.
Yeah, I've got one, the Free Comic Book Day, and I've got the number 1 too as well. And I think if Burke was still here, he'd probably be like, "That's the same book. Why'd you get it twice?" I was like,
right. Well, I didn't realize it was the same book until I done bought it. And I go, wait, I've already read this book.
Right. And then also at my local shop, they still have the Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man first appearance of Virus. They still have like a stack of those books still there. And I'm like, you do guys realize that this like book is easily going for $20 to $30 a piece.
And I told my LCS the same thing, and he goes, "It's just taking up my space." I said, "Okay." So I took it off his hands, or took them off his hands. And what I do is, like when I sell books on the auctions and stuff that I do,
you just throw it in.
Throw it in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to scroll on GoCollect, see if it'll pop up here.
On GoCollect, they're like 30 something bucks for a high grade one.
Yeah, like it's kind of like, I mean, that's like a decently priced, modern book right out the gate. And I think on the label, I watched somebody the other day, on the label, it actually denotes what the issue was. Like I think it says like something like was scheduled to be released before yada yada yada. First full appearance of Virus. Like they actually put it on the label, which is actually interesting.
Yeah, I saw that, and that is interesting that they would make that delineation like that. But well, that is all that. Let's see, they were selling that Cat Multiverse at store for $50, Biggie. So that is all that I got. I do want to go ahead and make a plug for the 600 subscriber giveaway that I'm doing, which is a 9.4 CGC slab of the first appearance of Deadpool found in New Mutants 98, as well as the accompanying pop commemorating that appearance. And all you got to do is find a new to you YouTube or YouTube comic or pop related channel and subscribe to them. Go to any of their videos and put the hashtag SCG sent me. Then come back to any one of my videos and put in, "Hey, I subscribe to so-and-so." And you'll get a response back that you're in. And when we hit that 600 subscriber mark, if you've done the aforementioned items and are 18 years or older and a subscriber to my channel, then you will be put on the wheel, and we will be giving away that book and pop together, and probably giving away some other stuff as I typically do. And I will be announcing what the next giveaway is going to be. And it's going to be a big book. It's going to be a bigger one than this. I already know what it is, but I will be not telling nobody, or not be telling anybody until that 600 subscriber giveaway show. So be sure to check that out. All the people that are in the chat today, including Vincent McLean, the Comic Machine, who I don't know how in the world he looked at with such a name that kind of just rolls off your tongue like that.
Honestly, I didn't even create it. It was given to me by somebody else in the family to help me get started.
So you can check out his channel as well as the other people. I know Biggie was doing a sub push. So if you're not subscribed to them, those are some ideas for some comic channels that you can go and subscribe to get your name in the hat for that New Mutants 98. So having said that, why don't I give, let's see if I can do, give you the floor and anything that's going on your channel.
Well, I wasn't expecting this. I was just jumping in to hang out because you offered. But I am basically just doing what I can to bring awesome content. So I put out new videos every Thursday. I do my live stream on Monday nights. It's called the Monday Night Jibber Jabber. So if you want to see me rant and rave and just go off the wall about anything and everything comic book related, be sure to check that out. I have 3 huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books coming in, which hopefully will make it for either the Monday Night Jibber Jabber or my Thursday comic book video next week. So be sure, stop by and check it out. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. So, but yeah, like I know Immortal Biggie Shack is getting real close to that 1,000 subscriber, which is super awesome. So go subscribe to him, help him get over that hump. I'm making my way up the ladder. Hopefully I hit 1,000 by tomorrow, but just going to keep making awesome content and hang out with awesome people like you, the Southern Geek, Southern Comic Book Geek. It's awesome.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on and appreciate everybody that watches this live or on the rewind. In either case, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and help us with the YouTubes and the YouTube algorithms that way, and hit the bell notification so that when random videos like this drop, you will be one of the first people to know, and you can make the conscientious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or to watch it on the rewind. But either way, as long as you watch it, we love you. So until next time, stay safe out there, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.